meeting to order for August 27th, 2019. I'd like to welcome everybody. We'll begin our meeting by asking Pastor Michael Hudson, pastor of Christ Independent Methodist Church, to come forward to deliver our invocation, and then Commissioner Turner will lead us in the pledge. If you're able, please stand.
Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we know that you are the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the great I am. That you're the Creator, the Giver, and the Sustainer of life. That you spoke and the worlds came into existence. That you sit upon the throne of glory. That you love us so much, dear Lord, that you sent your precious Son, our Savior, Jesus Christ, to take our place on the cross of Calvary, to shed that precious blood that washes and makes us white as snow, the forgiveness of our sins. We praise you and we thank you because you are the only one that is deserving of honor and glory and praise. And Father, we thank you for another day, another opportunity that we can reach out and help others, that we can reach out and show them the love of the Lord Jesus Christ. And Father, I pray, dear Lord, that you'll help us to make the most of the day that you've given to us. And at the end of the day, when we look back, that we can say, dear Lord, that we did reach out, that we did help somebody, that we did encourage somebody, that we lifted someone up. Father, I pray, dear Lord, that you would be with this meeting. I pray that you will be with our commissioners. I pray, Father, that you'll give them a compassion and a love. I pray that you'll give them a wisdom. You said in your precious word, if anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask of you, and that you'll give it. And I pray that you'll give them the wisdom that as they govern our county, I pray, dear Lord, that you will bless them in their ministry. Father, bless our county, bless our people, dear Lord. We pray these things in your precious, holy, and wonderful name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Hudson, and thank you, Commissioner Turner. Commissioners, next item of business, approval of the minutes of July 23rd, 2019 regular meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, we got a proper motion, a proper second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we'll move down to item 3, recognitions. And I'll ask Ms. Lori Parker, our HR director, to come forward with some years of service recognition. Thank you, Lori.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we're recognizing employees for their years of service. We have 4 employees. The first one is Sam Willis, if Sam could come up. Sam is the distribution collection system supervisor with Public Works. He started with the county in 2009, and Sam is celebrating 10 years of service. Next on the list is Kristen Lowry. Kristen couldn't make it today, but Kristen is the branch librarian at the Interlochen Library. She is celebrating 15 years of service.
All right.
Next is Matt Simpson. Hi, Matt. Matt is the emergency vehicle technician with Fleet Maintenance. Matt started with the county in 1999, and Matt is celebrating 20 years of service. Last but not least, Pam Washington. Pam, come on. You love it. Come on.
Come on, Pam.
Come on, Pam. Pam is a permit specialist, as you all know, with planning and development. She started with the county or the board in 1994. Before she started with us, she worked for the property appraiser's office. Pam was also the zoning technician for planning and development before she moved up to permit specialist. And we'd like to congratulate Pam for 25 years of service. Thanks, that's it. you do pictures up front? Couple pictures. Y'all have anything to say?
I'm kind of tall, so I'm going to get up real close. You know, I have to do it with me. Good job. Thank you. Congratulations. That's 5 years longer than I thought. Look up the window. She really is.
You want to do yours now? Yeah. Sure. Okay, Administrator Suggs has a recognition before we move on to Tim Parker, and Tim, we'll do you after this next recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board of County Commissioners. It's my honor this morning to read this resolution. This resolution is from the Northeast Florida Regional Council, honoring Honorable Larry Harvey. As you can tell by his expression, he didn't know this was coming. Whereas the Honorable Larry Harvey, Putnam County Commissioner, was appointed by Governor Rick Scott in January of 2016 to serve as gubernatorial representative on the Northeast Florida Regional Council Board of Directors. And whereas Commissioner Harvey served as a member of the Affordable Housing Committee and the Executive Committee. And whereas Commissioner Harvey served as a council and Northeast Florida citizen in great distinction, devotion, and dedication. And whereas his efforts on behalf of the council and Northeast Florida will be missed. Now therefore be it resolved that the Policy Board of the Northeast Florida Regional Council hereby commends Commissioner Larry Harvey for his efforts and contributions during his tenure and express its sincere appreciation for his service. Unanimously adopted by the Northeast Florida Regional Council in a special meeting assembled in the city of Jacksonville on the first day of August 2019. Congratulations, Commissioner Larry Harvey.
Read your prepared notes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
You knew that was coming.
He knew that.
Okay. Congratulations, Commissioner Harvey. Would you like to say a couple of words?
You know, it was just an honor to represent Putnam County and be Governor Scott's appointment on that board. Commissioner Goddard serves there still now at this point, and it's good to have representation from Putnam County up there to get our voices heard, and it was an honor and a pleasure to serve. And I thank this board for allowing me the opportunity to go up there and have the time to do that. So thank you all very much.
Okay. Thank you for your service. Okay, now we'll move down to B. Property appraiser, Mr. Tim Parker, has a couple of years of service recognitions.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to thank the County Commission and the citizens of Putnam County for allowing me the privilege to recognize 2 of our employees for their 5 years of service. Prior to joining our office, Cheryl Vyers was employed by Public Works of Putnam County for 8 years. Cheryl joined our office on August 18, 2014. Cheryl has earned her Certified Florida Evaluator designation after completing the coursework and the 4 tests associated with the designation, scoring a perfect score on one of those tests.
Anytime that I give a PowerPoint presentation from our office, Cheryl has a major part in putting that together. We appreciate Cheryl's dedication to service, not only to our office, but to our customers as well. We have this certificate of appreciation, which reads, "We hereby express our sincere appreciation to Cheryl Vyers for outstanding service and contributions to the citizens of Putnam County for 5 years, and award this certificate from Putnam County Property Appraiser dated this 27th day of August, 2019. Join me in congratulating. Robert, Bob, as we call him, Malden, joined our office on June 25th, 2014 as a field appraiser. Bob has earned his designation of Certified Florida Evaluator, having completed the coursework and passing the 4 tests associated with the designation. Bob consistently completes his assignments, exceeding the requirements in both quality and quantity. We appreciate Bob's dedication to service, not only to our office, but to our customers as well. His certificate of appreciation reads in a similar manner: "We hereby express our sincere appreciation to Robert Malden for outstanding service and contributions to the citizen of Putnam County for 5 years, and award this certificate from the Putnam County Property Appraiser's Office." Join me in congratulating Bob Malden.
Can we get a picture? Tim?
Can we get a photo op?
Well, I've got to get a little closer. Larry, you've got to scrunch in just a little bit more, please. Thank you. Did you want to get a picture? There we go. That's better.
Okay, the next item of business is 9:10 certain, so it's 9:13. So I'd like to recess the Board of County Commission meeting and convene the Solid Waste Collection and Disposal District meeting. And I ask and recognize Mayor of Crescent City, Brett Peterson, who serves on this committee, to come forward, or any other members. I don't see any of the other mayors. Administrator Suggs, is this is the second reading of this. So is Stacy Papel? Okay.
Gentlemen, what you have before you today is the roll. Annually, you need to approve the,
I don't think you're on.
just turned it on. It says it's on. It's just easier to get up. What you have before you is the solid waste roll. And annually, you approve the rates at the second meeting in July, and then at the second meeting in August, you approve the roll. It is the roll that we received from the property appraiser. There have been no adjustments to the roll.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes of July 23rd Solid Waste and Disposal District.
Second.
Okay, got a proper motion to approve the minutes by Commissioner Harvey and a second by Commissioner Rawls. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and then B, review and approve the special assessment for fiscal year 1920 solid waste resolution. Do we have a motion for that?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval.
There's got
I'll
a
second it.
Got a proper motion by Commissioner Rawls, and proper second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Is that the only items of business for that? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a comment if I could. I know that we kept this at 331, 331 for solid waste assessment, correct? 329, excuse me, I missed a couple dollars, which is good because it's down. But I think we need to keep in mind here that we are trying to move it down. At the same time, we have expenses moving up. I think it was Commissioner Rawls that brought it up in the last meeting. It was absolutely correct that said that this may be basically an even, but our expenses have gone up. And so this is really a deduct more so than anything. So I just wanted to bring that up again at this meeting of the committee, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any other further discussion on it?
You know, Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes.
I'd like
Sorry.
I'd like to publicly thank Commissioner Turner for his hard work on looking outside the box and working with outside vendors, if you will. We talked about that at the last meeting, and this is a potential to raise revenue and to even see a further reduction one day if all things pan out. So this board has been very active, but Commissioner Turner, I thank you for your hard work and dedication to that. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring Jay into it too, since he's been here. He's been a ball of fire, and he's helped me, he's helped me understand more than I thought I knew. So I would be remiss without thanking him also.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Kudos all around.
Okay. Mayor, thank you. Thank you for coming. So we'll adjourn the solid waste collection, and I'll reconvene the Board of County Commission. Okay, we'll move down to presentations. Number 5, Ms. Stella Brown, Library Director for the Summer Library Reading Program update.
Good morning to each of you in your respective places. Just to give a little synopsis of what happened in your county during the summer at your local libraries. Put these on so I can see. Good morning, Commissioners. As you all know, summer is a busy time at the library. As participants in the nationwide collaborative summer library program, our goal is to encourage children and teens to read during the summer and keep their minds engaged and learning skills sharp during their vacation. This year, on the 50th anniversary of the Apollo moon landing, the nationwide reading theme was of course centered around space exploration and was titled A Universe of Stories. Our kickoff was a blast, with each branch hosting its own special event to mark the start of the summer reading program. The biggest event was in Palaca, where the library system teamed up with the Kiwanis to host a Toddler Fest, a festival of fun family resources attended by over 700 people of all ages. Of course, the center of our programming was our traditional story times and our reading challenge. We also offer free lunches for the kids and teens through the state-funded Summer Break Spot program. There was something to do every day with craft explosion, daily movies, family coloring hours, and a weekly educational training camp to teach kids introduction to unique special skills like Japanese language, archaeology, taekwondo, and botany. A special addition to our scheduling this year were technology programs made possible by the Library Services Technology Act grant. All our library branches hosted at least one 4-day generation Mars Teens Tech Coding Camp, where they learned about coding, internet safety, robotics, and got to take trips to the International Space Station with our virtual reality headsets. Each branch also hosted several one-day workshops such as Family Coding Night, Lego competition, and robotic camps, and teens were able to test their deductions and problem-solving skills by thinking their way out of exciting escape rooms. We were fortunate to be able to have several special guests that made the summer even more amazing. We had a soul food chef by the name of Siobhan Cooper McNeil, Ventriloquist of the Year, and founder of the International Ventriloquist Society, Mark Wade. Local author, veteran, and historian C.S. Bennett, and the fantastic STEM science hands-on workshops of local scientist Dr. Holly. Although all of our programs are open to everyone of any age, we still had a few programs that were geared for adults. So they had things to do as well. The University of Florida IFAS cooking class was a huge success, as was the 8-week Tai Chi class. We also had our usual fiber arts club, sewing, crocheting, and more, and our living history classes and digital archive sessions through the archives. Our summer ended with a grand finale with over 100 guests that featured pizza cupcakes and wild scientific experiments of mad science. No wrap-up would be complete without the numbers, so here's our breakdown. In just 39 days of programming, over the course of 2 months, the Putnam County Library System hosted a total of 533 programs attended by over 6,300 people. During our summer reading challenge, 260 children aged 0 to 18 participated. Our toddlers read 7,600 books, the school-age children read 1,700 books, and our teens read 713 books in just these 8 weeks. Our county's top readers were Paul Daffendahl for the 5 and under with 300 books read. Jelia Gill read the most hours among the 6 to 10-year-olds with 400 hours read. And Ezra Cook read the most books for our teens, 11 to 18 group with 106 books read. We consider our summer reading program this year to be a fantastic success and can't wait to spend next summer with you all. Until then, keep your eyes on our Fun in Putnam page website where we have calendars for all our branches. As fall comes, we will be filling our calendar with events such as Every Child Ready to Read, Family Gaming Night, Living History Workshops, special archives programs, and holiday programs such as Bull on the Avenues and Cookies with Santa. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Ms. Della.
And I will say, the partnering with the Kiwanis and stuff this year, it was so overwhelming. We had every employee in the library system working, and we still didn't have enough people. So we already have people that want to be on the list next year to participate in it, so I don't know where we're going to take it, but we might have to take it out of the library into another location just for the fire marshal so that he don't cross out our facility. But thank you, and thank you for your support as well, because counties and PAL and the nonprofit organizations, there is no way this would ever be a huge success as it was this year. Thank you all very much.
Thank you
for
so
a
much.
job well done.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Della.
Mr. Chairman, if I could take a point of privilege here for just a second to commend Ms. Stella and her staff for all that they do for Putnam County. What you're seeing is the result of a 30-year public service career that started as a page at the library and ended up as the library services director. Ms. Stella has done wonderful things here in Putnam County, and I think just, you know, we would not be where we are in our system today without Ms. Stella and her vision. So I just want to publicly thank her again for being a great member of this team and for serving the commissioners as well as the citizens of Putnam County the way that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next, Ms. Rosemary Anderson will give us an update on the activities and contributions to Putnam County Library System from the Putnam, Alachua, and Levy.
Is this the one I use?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm pleased to be here today to have a chance to brag on good things. I'm here as president of the PAL Library Cooperative. You know it as Putnam, Alachua, and Levy County Library Systems working together in a co-op. And I'm one of our 2 trustees representing our county. As you may recall, in 2010, On the recommendation of the county administrator and the county library board, we recommended to the commissioners that they join this interlocal agreement to create the co-op. And the purpose was, of course, perhaps it was going to add to our resources as funding came through the co-op from the state, in addition to those funds that are provided directly to our library system. Early on, there was a bit of a question about whether little Putnam County would be pushed aside and we wouldn't get our fair share of the money. Larry is smiling. And so it was always my pleasure to be able to come in and say things are harmonious and our program funds are divided a third, a third, a third. So that's very good news, and it comes to a lot of money, as I'll tell you in a moment. In the 9 years, PAL has, or the Putnam County Library System, has received some $751,000 in direct aid support. That's a lot of money, and it's gone to a good purpose. They've enhanced our library collections so I can get my favorite mystery sooner than I might have had to otherwise. But more importantly, it improved our activities. And the thing that I am most proud of and pleased about is that it gave our system the ability to expand library resources with technology, equipment, and materials and supplies. As I say, this is an accomplishment that I'm particularly pleased about, because it's no secret that in 2010, when we started our work, our online data programs were minimal at best. And what this has done is added and given us a full inventory of online data programs that will help people. And let me give you a few ideas. They can do a job search or check out a career and see if that's the kind of thing that they should be doing. They can add skills through a tutorial, a Microsoft Office suite, for example, or other programs. Some of us can go in and learn online basics. They can do language learning, prepare for their GED, pursue a particular interest, and download audiobooks and other materials onto their own devices. And this is just a brief sample of what's available through these programs that have been added to our system in the recent years. Additionally, this year, for example, through PAL, our library was able to purchase coding and gaming equipment for a good purpose to facilitate more teen programs throughout the system. And we do want to have young people involved in our libraries and out of trouble. Putnam has added Biblia Board for independent local author publishing. Creative Bug, their tutorials for crafts and homemade creativity. And we'll soon be adding Creator, which will allow multimedia sharing of creative and educational materials for all residents of Putnam County. In addition, PAL has played and continues to play a large role in the summer reading program about which you heard from Stella, with the wonderful results that have been achieved. And PAL helps too with our grants. Recently, you may know, through PAL, our library system applied for a grant for the purchase of new technology for the system's makerspace and how to create, adding exciting new programs for computing, life skills, creativity. In the 18 fiscal year, Putnam's share was $42,930. And in the upcoming cycle, Putnam will be awarded $39,333 in support of this program. We believe these examples show that the Pell Library Co-op idea has added resources to our library system, and it has turned out that it's provided the kind of support of resources that you envisioned when the board first signed on in 2010. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them, and I have Stella as my backup. So.
Okay. Ms. Rivers,
Okay,
thank you so much. for-
751,000. Yippee.
Good deal. Thank you.
Any questions?
I just have a comment.
Okay. Commissioner Rawls, a comment?
I think what you're doing is terrific. And when you, working with other agencies like you have, and you use the word harmony, that's really nice to hear, that we're able to work with other agencies, other counties, and further this endeavor. I've had a lot of compliments on the website for the library system. The folks in Boswick are really stoked about what they have. So you guys are doing a terrific job, and thank you for your efforts.
Okay, Stella, Rosemary, thank you so much.
Just want to mention one other thing. Putnam County Library System did receive a $10,000 Frank Oliver Jr. Foundation grant to start an adult literacy program. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioner Harvey?
Mr. Chairman, I see Chris Mitchell in the audience. That always means she has something to say before we move down to public comment. Can we entertain Chris for a moment?
Yep, she actually filled out a public comment, but we'll card.
She wants to talk somewhere down the line.
Okay, Kristen, if you want to come up. She has an announcement to make. Christian Mitchell, former with Keep Putnam Beautiful.
That's right. Well, first, I just wanted to take a second to thank you all. I was the director of Keep Putnam Beautiful for a year and a half, and it was a wonderful experience, and it was in part because of you and your cooperation and the fact that I knew I could come in here at any time and ask for just about anything and receive it. I appreciate all of the man hours that you put in, all of the promotion you did for us. I really appreciate Mr. Suggs and Mr. Reynolds and the fact that they answered my emails and were prompt with what I needed. And so I just wanted to come in and thank you. You made my job wonderful, and I'm sad to have left, but I've moved on to something else I'm really enjoying, and I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to Nicole Grace, who will be the new director of Keep Putnam Beautiful, and to implore you to extend to her the same just encouragement and efforts that you put in with me also. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen. Wait a minute, Nicole.
Oh, no,
Nicole,
oh,
no.
Nicole, you're not gonna get off that easy.
That easy. Nicole, if you would just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up, it was a great story this morning, how you ended up in Putnam County.
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm originally from Orlando, Florida, and we were looking for something smaller. We moved up to Jacksonville, and that's just exploded, and my husband said, no more. He called me from Palatka and said, hey, I'm in Palatka. I found our house. It's perfect. And I drove down and ended up outside of Donnie Jordan's gate, who is a deputy with the Sheriff's Department. And there were patrol cars in front of me and a locked gate. And I said, I'm going to McDonald's, honey. Come and get me, because I'm in the wrong place. I'm obviously lost. Thank you, because now if someone gets our address, they go directly to our house, because the road is now maintained by the county. It's wonderful, and my uncles and aunts are able to get directly to without being concerned about where they are. So we love it. It's been 5.5 years now, and I've gotten to explore all over the county. My experience beforehand had been that you had the fanciest Burger King ever, that you could look out over the river. I came with a cross-country team, and Palatka is fancy, was what I knew. But thank you very much. I'm very excited to start, and I'm grateful for the board and Kristen to give me this opportunity, and I love it. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could.
Okay.
Kristen, when We were talking to Nicole this morning. My first comment was, you have some big shoes to fill. And she respectfully disagreed and said they were a little smaller, but I think you did a terrific job.
Yeah, Kristen definitely put a lot of energy in the job and very enjoyable to work with, so I'm sure Nicole will be too. So thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, may I give a piece of advice? Nicole, just don't take no for an answer. Kristen never did, so we don't expect you to either, okay?
So when we tell you no, that doesn't mean no.
Okay, we'll move down to item 6, public comment. This portion of the agenda is designed to allow citizens an opportunity to bring matters to the attention of the board. It's not reasonable to expect the board will engage in debate or deliberation about matters on which the board has received no prior information. Please limit your comment to 3 minutes. We prefer that you fill out a comment card, which are available in the entrance and the exit of the building, and give them to Sarah Oliver, our clerk to board, over to the left to your right. So the first public comment is from Ms. Nancy Taylor. Welcome, Ms. Nancy. If you'll speak clearly in the microphone and state your name and address.
All right, Nancy Taylor, Crescent City, calling about this. Because I only put my garbage out about 6 times a year, and my recycling bin about 10, I've always thought that the garbage assessment was unfair, as everyone pays the same regardless if they have 1 can or 20 bags. So I opened my trim letter to find out that my garbage assessment had increased to 2. So I called the number on the letter. Laura Parsons answered. She was very congenial, said she would find out and get back to me, which she did. So then I called Freddie Garrett, who she referenced, and he told me that the ordinance governing county garbage had been changed last year and that any improvement with kitchen and bathroom automatically got assessed for an additional garbage fee. No questions asked, no one notifying the property owner of why this assessment had doubled, other than the trim notice, of course. Just automatically assuming that there were 2 residences, which you call improvements, not houses, dwellings, residences, but improvements. I think this ironic, given that just a few months ago you were boasting, and then this morning as well, that everyone's garbage assessment went down by $1. I find this talking out of both sides of your mouth when you knew that a lot of assessments would double. Arbitrary rules like this one, along with all the other regulations in this county, are the reasons people are not flocking here.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you,
Don't
Ms. Taylor.
leave,
Ms.
Ms.
Taylor.
Nancy.
Ms. Nancy.
We're gonna talk about this one if you don't mind,
Okay.
sir.
All right, Commissioner Turner.
I'm not aware that adding a bathroom or whatever to the same structure
No, it's not.
constitutes.
If you have 2 structures, each with a kitchen and a bathroom, then you're automatically assessed 2 garbage assessments.
That wasn't just last year, Miss Nancy, that's been going on for quite some time. If you have if you didn't do that, and you had 3 residential units on the same
They're not
property, then they
residential
get 3 assessments. I mean, I understand, I thought maybe it was so you didn't just add on to your existing structure, this is a separate structure.
It is, but it's not a residence. I use it for storage. My parents lived there many, many, many years ago, but I use it for storage.
Understand, but it's a second dwelling unit that could be used for a dwelling unit, correct?
But it's
Because that's
not.
what the code says, though, is if it could be used for we went through a lot of these cases in the Solid Waste Adjustment Committee when these kind of cases were heard, and that's where the line's drawn in the ordinances is if it could be used for a residential dwelling, then it's gonna get an assessment. Even if it, just like it was on 2 separate lots, 2 units. 2 units on the same lot is still 2 dwelling units.
But that doesn't make sense, and that's unfair to me because I'm the only person there and no one else is living there. There is not enough room on my property to have 2 other people living there or 1 other person living there. And that's just really unfair.
Ms. Nancy,
Thank you, Ms. Taylor.
Ms. Taylor.
did you just said you did contact the property appraiser's office.
It was very nice. He said it was the rules and he was just enforcing them.
But did they tell you if you remove the kitchen and the bathroom and turn that into an actual storage unit?
I'm not going to take the
Well-
kitchen and bathroom out. It would cost more than the building is worth.
Yes, ma'am, I know, but I do know that Florida statute does say that if it can be used as a dwelling, then it will be assessed as a
So if I
dwelling.
put a kitchen and a toilet in my chicken pen, I get assessed another one?
I'm afraid you probably would.
Okay, next speaker, Mr. Douglas Hayes. Okay, Mr. Hayes, if you'll state your name and address and keep it to 3 minutes, please.
I'm going to do my best. You know me. My name is Douglas Hayes, and I live at 216 Hilltop Road, Satsuma, candidate for County Commissioner District 3. First thing I'd like to do is address the garbage tax. As a suggestion, I had an opportunity to look at an elder's tax, proposed tax bill. And one of the things I had noticed is that the proposed tax bill actually showed a millage increase. The second thing is that after all his exemptions, he was still responsible for $329 garbage pickup fee or waste disposal fee or whatever you want to call it these days. At one time, it was a recycling cost. So basically, it costs that 80-year-old that makes $693 a month, $1 a day just to wake up. And if he doesn't pay that $1 a day, he's for fear of losing his home because it's property tax. I would like to offer a suggestion is that we still have a half a penny available, if not more, for sales tax. And seeing how that we all seem to like the idea of consumption tax, that the sales tax to pay for that garbage pickup would be the result of consumption because it's the trash. And that might alleviate the $329 that our elders who are on a fixed income, that $1 could be the copay in their meds or a meal. The next thing is that I'd like to ask in regards to the self-pay health insurance for the employees, if you could possibly explain that a little bit to the general public. The newspaper was rather vague, and that with the self-pay idea, which I commend, is that there's mention of reserves. And I'm not sure what that means, but perhaps the Cato Institute has a good outline in regards to health savings accounts, and that perhaps there might be a matching program for a health savings account that would alleviate the employees' healthcare costs. The other thing, too, is that the advantage of an employer-provided healthcare system is that you have a group of people, so now you can get a group rate. So if you're going to do a self-pay program, I offer a suggestion to create a Putnam County Employees Association. That way, as a member of the association, they can advocate for group rates. The other possibility is that we have a satellite healthcare system, the Azalea Healthcare Clinics, is to perhaps look at organizing the idea of a concierge system. And that way, that might alleviate the employee's cost on a self-pay. So cross between maybe a minor matching with the health savings account and create a concierge, that would alleviate the healthcare costs for the employee and give them choice versus a provided by the employer or the county. Thank you. One last to you, of course. I would like to complain that the Animal Services Advisory Board meeting was held at 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday, the 19th. Once again, I'd like to advocate that the Citizens Advisory Board be available in the evenings so that us citizens can participate, not counting at the advisory board members, unless they're retirees and have nothing better to do in their life, but the likelihood is they're employed or they own a business. Monday at 9 o'clock in the morning is the moment that you're trying to beat the coals to keep your business going. So I don't think it's appropriate for that particular time frame. And I really would have liked to have attended, and unfortunately, I had to work. Thank you. God bless.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you,
if I could-
Commissioner
Mr.
Ross?
Hayes, several things. Number one, unless I'm mistaken, the advisory committee can set their time when they want to meet, and several other committees have done that to suit their schedules for the committee members. As far as the HSA, absolutely. I'm a huge proponent of that. I think it's a terrific idea. I came in late to the picnic, so there was no discussion of HSAs in the self-funded. But I think that's more than a viable option. It makes stakeholders out of employees, and then they have a personal vested interest in saving money. And what was the first topic you brought about the landfill? I crunched the numbers. If we did a half-cent sales tax, you're going to generate about $3.5, $4 million, a little less than $4 million, but you need about $11 million to cover the $330 that we're getting now. So still be a huge disparity. And at the end of the day, as painful as it is to say, we're all in this together. We're living in this county, and using somebody's age to determine whether or not they have to participate in the consumption portion of it, I don't think is relevant. But I do think that civic groups and churches can help with that, and that's what they used to do. So I think we need to get the public back involved the way they used to be. But I do applaud you for your thinking. You're thinking in the right direction all the way around.
Thank you. I wasn't aware of the numbers as far as the tally needed of 11 million.
Well, a penny in Better Place raises 6.6 million plus or minus. So if you cut that in half, it's not going to generate enough money to pay for the curbside pickup for our landfill.
Like I said, I didn't realize it was 11 million for the need, but thank you. I'll crunch numbers and find another method.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hayes. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion of the motion of this meeting, and we'll move down to item 7, the consent agenda. Commissioners, any items you wish to pull? We'll start with Commissioner Rawls.
I have none.
Okay, Commissioner Goddard,
I have none.
Commissioner Harvey,
I have none, sir.
Commissioner Turner.
I have none.
Okay, and I have none.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the consent agenda items A through I.
Second.
We've got a proper motion by Commissioner Harvey and a proper second by Commissioner Turner. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, consent agenda passes. Okay. Clerk of Court, Honorable Tim Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no items today.
Okay, thank you. Appointments, starting with Commissioner Harvey. Any appointments?
I have none, sir.
Commissioner Turner.
I have none.
Commissioner Goddard.
I have none.
Commissioner Rawls.
I have none, but I'd like to ask a question about the at-large. We have 2 at-large appointments. If I'm reading this correctly, do they both have to be basically in housing development or construction, for-profit or nonprofit?
Which one are you talking about?
On the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, it says we have 2 at-large to appoint. Margaret Zahner was in real estate, so does real estate qualify, I guess, for that?
Sounds like it to me.
Do we have a way to reach out to folks besides ourselves, or we don't have anybody interested that's? So is this committee non-operable without them, or how are they able to meet?
I think, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Commissioner Turner, or Harvey.
May I say, Commissioner Raw, I think what we need to do is find out who's on there and who represents what criteria on there. And maybe with the openings, we can prove that, because there are some people that need to be here, but, I don't have that list in front of me. So we can get that to you in the next meeting. We can talk about that.
Okay.
This
I would think that'd be an
is one of
important
the
committee
more
to see.
difficult ones because I've been looking for somebody for quite some time that fits into the categories that's interested in affordable housing, and it's very difficult to do. My last guy, William McCormick, resigned some time ago and didn't want to be put back on it. So I've also been looking, and I'd be interested in that same report on who fits what category already. So do we just need to find somebody, or does it have to be a certain person, like a certain qualification that needs to be filled as we're doing it?
You going to email that to us?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, you don't have any, do you? But okay, I don't have any appointments either. So before we go down to County Administrator, Paul, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you want to talk a little bit about the 9/11 event?
I can't hear.
On the 10th, the 9/11 event that's on the 10th.
I thought it was on the 11th.
Thought it was the same day as commission on the 10th.
No, I think it's the next day. So
Good morning, Paul Flato, Putnam County Fire
Let's
Rescue.
start with telling us what day that you're doing it on. Is
We're doing it on 9/11.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you. It's Wednesday, September 11th. It'll be the day after the proclamation.
Okay.
Good deal.
Yes, sir. So the event that we do here is a remembrance ceremony. It's also the National Day of Service and Patriot Day. We will start off in the morning at 9:59 with a moment of silence. At 10 o'clock, we will begin the ceremony. We'll have introductions. We will do a short ceremony. We'll read the proclamation, and we'll have a remembrance address by our Board of County Commission Chairman. And then we'll do a 21-gun salute. We'll have a ringing of the bell. We'll have, more than likely, one of our chiefs will be reading the bell ringing ceremony, what's the significance of the ringing of the bell. And then we will conclude with a benediction, and then we'll do some other announcements of the events of the day. Again, it's just our way of trying to make sure that nobody forgets the events of 9/11. So if you can make it, please plan on attending. It is a ceremony of remembrance, and it's not a celebration. It's not of sorrow, but we want to remember and not forget those that suffered that day.
Okay. Okay. All right, Paul. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Okay. County Attorney, Joe DeNovo.
I have nothing to add, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay. I see that Administrator Suggs is tied up. Any of y'all's comments?
He has nothing to add, sir.
He doesn't? Okay. Okay, we'll go down to Commissioner comments and
I believe that's
requests.
the first time he never said anything.
We'll start with Commissioner Rawls.
I was contacted yesterday by Mr. William Davis regarding a derelict vessel we had discussed in the past. We had applied for a grant. The state determined that this vessel did not have a propulsion system, therefore they didn't want to cover that one in the 2/3, 1/3 grant program. He's now saying that the boat is sunk down to where it's just above the deck. It's a pontoon boat apparently that somebody built a shed on top of. And he's saying that there used to be a generator in it. He's not sure if there still is, but he's concerned about environmental impact. I told him, I contacted Mr. Suggs. I told him as far as we're concerned, we didn't have access to the river with our equipment. It's not really in our purview. It's being pushed back and forth. He's a little bit upset because he's a taxpayer, wants to know why the county can't help him out. Oddly enough, this morning an email came through that FDIC is having a meeting so patrol officers can determine whether or not a vessel meets the description of vessel based on its propulsion system, and that might help at least expedite things. He's also at the end of the conversation said, well, I don't even want to begin to tell you about the other houseboat or the other sailboat. Well, apparently the man that passed away that owned this boat had 2 boats, and they were both on moor, and they both slipped from their moor and are encroaching on the land. So something we're going to have to deal with sometime or another. He said he might try to come this afternoon. He works in Clay County. And yesterday at Post 45, the American Legion actually had a really good turnout, a lot of engagement with the public. There was a lot of discussion. One of the men there has done a lot of work with strategic planning. And we had some really good conversation about that going forward. I really think we need to start having conversations ourselves to wrap our minds around which direction we want to go once these consultants come in, so we don't waste their time, we get as much effort out of it. But one thing that I've been looking at lately is, I brought this up back in January about us starting our budgeting process in January, not in July. Here we are at the end of the year trying to make on-the-fly decisions, but maybe look at having a 2-year budget process as part of our strategic planning. So I just wanted to bring that up so y'all could kind of be thinking about that. If we had a 2-year process, then I don't know if it would make it any easier on Ms. Papel, but it would definitely it would definitely be better for the public, because we would at least know 2 years out, what our priorities are and all that. And then we could have earlier conversations about it, but just food for thought.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Rawls. Commissioner Goddard?
Let me pull in because maybe I'm confused. Now, the first year that I became a commissioner, I was overwhelmed with our budget. But the following year, you started your budget basically a year in advance because there were a lot of things I went over with you early on.
I'm always looking at the next year's budget.
Okay. Yeah, that's the way I understood it.
But formally putting together and having you guys pass a two-year budget.
Not a 2-year budget, no.
Different than.
Yeah.
Budget process.
But the budget, I mean, basically, there's a lot of answers that she has early on, and I know that it's right up to the end before we can actually finalize it because of the state statutes. But in my past, anytime I've gone in there to talk to her about certain things on the budget, she's been able to fill me in on what our projected cost is and what our projected is. 2 years probably is too far, but yeah, I know that a year is out there. And as usual, I always mention, get out and see Putnam County. I mean, Nicole, you said it. This is a gorgeous place here. It's like we complain about our family too, but our family is good family. We have a great county. We have a lot of good things here. Yesterday, I couldn't believe how packed downtown was at the River Center. We had legislators from all over concerned about, growth in Florida and what it's going to cause to our river. Our river is our lifeblood, along with our whole area here is basically the replenishing point for our aquifer. So it was a great meeting of what we can do to keep our river nice, but it was just great to see that many people here. I also I got 2 things real quick about my commissioners. Our second town hall meeting was held down in Crescent City and was very well attended, answered a lot of questions, and of course after the meeting you ask all the questions, but it seems like a multitude of questions come after you have closed out the meeting and everybody wants to know what's going on. Just as an FYI, our third one will be out in Barden on September 12th, 6 o'clock at the fire station, and it's we love you to be attending this. We go over our budget, we go over the Better Place plan, and of course the concerns of the things that's out there. And we covered in our agenda here, our consent agenda, about the sale of these properties. And there were 22 put out there, 21 were sold. So we did 2 things. We put money back into working for the county, plus we now have these properties being cleaned up and put back into the tax, or back into our system. But I've got to give kudos to this commission here and to Commissioner Turner. He made one of the best suggestions of taking this money, surplus money if you would, and putting it towards cleaning up some of these properties, because that one property that did not sell, basically, and I won't get into the details, but we marketed it for $20 or up, okay? It did not sell, okay? Mark that. Did not sell at $20, but it's got a derelict piece of property on it, building on it, that would cost you probably $3,000 to $5,000 to remove. The property cleaned up, looking pristine, would be worth maybe $3,000. So what we're going to do is we're putting that money in there to do these abatements to get these types of properties cleaned up, get them off, so at least it looks nice. An empty piece of property looks better than a derelict building. And market it again. And that may seem negative, but when you think about what it's doing for the neighborhood and the fact that we will turn that property back into a productive piece of property, it's a plus plus. And I wanted to say, Commissioner Turner, that was a great idea, and I'm just, I just love the fact that it came up and how quickly this board jumped on board and said, yes, that's a great idea and let's do it. With that, I have nothing else to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Goddard. Commissioner Harvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too want to thank this board for being proactive. There's been a lot of things that we've been trying to move the needle on for many years. And the health insurance was one of them, to go self-funded. That was a big, big move on our part. We waited till we had enough reserves that we wouldn't have been too much concerned, although there is a level of concern there. But we've insured that. We've bought reinsurance for that. So this board has really took that. That's going to be able to see, hopefully, some savings down the road for our employees and their families. So we'll be able to get to let them enjoy those benefits. And also what Commissioner Goddard was saying about these derelict places, we've got more than we can say grace over in this community. But I tell you, this board has really taken that stance to think outside the box, to move that needle. This was our second sale, and it's exciting to see that happening. And now with the suggestion from Commissioner Turner to move that money to abatement, that's going to even help more. So there's a lot of good things happening. We're all as frustrated as we can be at times about government moves at a slow pace, but we're moving government, and it's working for us. Putnam County is a great place to be, to live, play, and work. Yesterday, I want to give kudos to Representative Bobby Payne for bringing the state legislators here. Might not be a big thing, but let me assure you that we had over 12 legislators here. The appropriations chairman, for the House and Senate were in Palaca yesterday. And believe me, I did not miss my opportunity to talk to them about things that we need. And we had other representatives here from all over the state. I think the furthest one was Representative Fine from Indian River came up. So just to kind of give you an idea, that was well attended by all the state agencies and citizens in this community to talk about the river, the water, because let me assure you, 999 people estimating are moving to Florida every day. And pretty soon, it'll be really, really full, maybe not in my lifetime. But when you look at Putnam County as a whole, we have tremendous opportunity here. We have tremendous land. We have good natural resources that are here for us. So I think we're poised to be in the greatest spot in Florida as people are trying to get away from the hustle and bustle of the big city life. I live in a 2-light town, and I don't like traffic jams. I don't like to go where I have to sit in traffic. I don't do that unless the school's out, and that's the only time that happens. So it's just a wonderful place to live, and it's just a great opportunity. And like Commissioner Goddard said, if you didn't get out of your house and go see Putnam County, get out and go see Putnam County. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Harvey. Commissioner Turner?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to start today on the landfill. We have tasked our landfill, our head of our landfill, Mr. Tilton, with trying to have some milestones in the next few years, and we can't do it as of today. But one of those tasks is to get our assessment down as low as we can, and possibly sometime in the future, if we can make the landfill make enough money, then we don't have to pay a pickup fee or a landfill assessment. So that would be from $3.29 back to zero. It's not going to happen this year, but because we just signed a contract, in fact, I think the chairman's going to sign it this morning, right, I believe. And so we just signed a contract for the first step in trying to make this happen. So, we do have a task that we want done, but this is the government. It's frustratingly slow. It takes baby steps to get where you want to go. That's just the way it is. So we are trying to work on that assessment. We are trying to work hard on it. I know, Ms. Taylor, that doesn't help with your problem that you're having right now, but we are working in that direction. I think the strategic plan is a very good, valid idea, and I think we're moving forward as quickly as we can. Again, this is government. Sorry, Terry. So anyhow, through our strategic planning, we can come up with things that we want to do to move the county in a certain direction by all means, but I don't see how we could really do a 2-year budget because we couldn't we couldn't accurately project what the revenues are gonna be 2 years in advance. That's why we're still working on this year's budget, is it changes almost weekly, you know, and the revenues or the expenditures or an emergency item comes in, and so all of a sudden, it's in this budget year, but we're gonna spend it next budget year. If that item comes in, that's part of the budget then. It's not, you can't let that just hang out there. You've got to include it in the budget. And so that's why we're having the budget change. And so anyhow, I'll leave the budget at that for this one. I would like to talk about it a little more this afternoon, but this is good for now. I would like to end this today by just saying, I've probably said this at least 6 times now, and I sound like a broken record. Call people back, please. Department heads, if you're not gonna do it, then get somebody that works for you to do it. Call people back. The most aggravating thing that you can get is a call from a constituent, and some of them say they called 10 times and it turns out they did once or twice. I get those. But if somebody calls you, somebody needs to call them back. Even to just say, no, I'm sorry, I can't do that, or whatever. I know sometimes that's an unpleasant call to make, and so sometimes we don't do it. Call the people back. For them, it's a life-changing experience in a lot of times, and so they deserve a phone call back to at least let them know where they are. So please, I'm gonna request again, please call someone back. If you can't do it, get somebody to do it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Just one couple of comments. I would like to say thank you to the Crescent City Women's Club for hosting the second town hall meeting on the 22nd. And thank you for all the commissioners that could attend. Commissioner Harvey was attending his advanced commissioner training, and I commend you on going those steps. So anyway, I appreciate staff that was there, Sarah, and also Administrator Suggs and Matt. It was a good thing that Matt got his voice back, so he was able to give the presentation, because just a few days earlier, he couldn't talk. So, but it was well attended, and I think the information was well received, and I think we were able to answer most everybody's questions either during the meeting or after the meeting. So I think it was good, and looking forward to the one in Barden. Also, the Logic Committee is going to have a special meeting here September 4th at 9 a.m. Mr. Quentin Studer is going to address the Logic Committee, so any of the department heads that are, and sheriffs and undersheriff, hopefully y'all will attend. So he'll speak to us at 9 o'clock September 4th. So is any other further business? Administrator Suggs, I'm going to get you one other chance to say a few words.
No, sir, I think I'm good this morning. We'll need Mr. Smith to hang back if he could for a minute to help sign these contracts so we can get the solid waste agreement in place. But no, sir, I think the town hall meeting at Crescent City went extremely well. A lot of positive comments. There were some tough questions asked, but I believe we were able to answer most of those questions to their liking. So I think things are moving in the positive direction, and I just appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
I told you, Matt. I told you you had something to say.
Mr. Chairman, if I
When the chairman puts you on the spot, you have a comment, sir.
Okay, and also, Mr. Smith, I appreciate Kenny Downs representing the Clerk of Court's office, and then Colonel Wells and Sheriff DeLoach, I appreciate y'all also attending. Commissioner Rawls?
I just want to set the record straight. What I was discussing a minute ago was not the budget itself, but a budget process. So at one point this year, we were asked as a commission, what do y'all want us to be looking at for the budget? That ask, if it was asked now, where we said we have 8 items over the next 2 years we'd like to be able to address, that puts it out there with a lot more time to be proactive rather than reactive, and not having to come up with solutions in the short term. So that's what I was talking about, not setting a 2-year budget, but actually a budget process that carries forward for more than one year. Is what it seems to me from an outsider's perspective is we're spending almost an entire year setting and managing a budget just to set another budget, and the next budget could be completely different than the budget from the year before. And I realize that things change, and strategic planning is fluid. It's a 1 year, maybe a 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year plan that adjusts itself out, and we have to be able to change with it. But just an idea, something to try to ease some of the anxiety from the employees in the county and not having to jump through the hoops every single year, different set of hoops, where we have something that's laid out that's a little more, has a little more continuity. But thanks, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Okay, we have a 2 o'clock transportation meeting. If there's no further business coming before the board, we stand adjourned.